Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. Our next guest was born into one of the most influential fringe movements of the 1970s, Scientology. Made to believe that it was his life's purpose to help save the world, he survived not only neglect, but extreme poverty and illiteracy. Here to share his story, we welcome the author of Child X, Jamie Mustard. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on such a harrowing topic.
Yes, I mean, the book is incredible. Tell me about why you wanted to share your story specifically and get it out there to hopefully so many more people.
Well, people have to understand that I was turned over to the paramilitary of Scientology. They're run by a kind of quasi-paramilitary naval type organization, believe it or not. And I was turned over to them on the day of my birth to a slum nursery on the outskirts of downtown Los Angeles, where I would spend the first 2.5 years of my life staring up in my own, unwashed, except for rarely, with little to no human touch. And I have survived that and gone on to do some pretty incredible things.
Absolutely.
So the purpose of writing the book was, one, to tell the story of the other kids like me that has never been told, that grew up like this on 4 continents, between England, Sydney, Australia, South Africa, Central Florida, Los Angeles, Copenhagen. This story has never been told of what happens to the kids of the inner core. I wanted to tell that. And also I came back from something, from the impossible, and I wanted to make I wanted to create something that would show people that no matter how far gone you are, you can be in the darkest hole of human existence and come back.
Absolutely. Tell me about the title, Child X. What's the significance of that?
Such a great question. Child X is about this concept of having your life predetermined for you before you're even born. So when I was a kid, I was kind of marked to save the world, and I had no say in it. What's really interesting is someone pointed out to me, because so many people that haven't lived through such a dramatic thing are telling me that they resonate with the character being me. And in certain ways, maybe we are all a Child X on some level.
Sure.
And I'm seeing that now that people are starting to read the book, some people that got early copies. So yeah, the Child X is having your life predetermined for you. And that can be done in a lot of different ways. It can be a religious thing. It can be the way your parents don't give you an opportunity or a chance. So it's this idea of, being marked for labor before you, or marked for an activity with you having no say in it.
You do a great job setting the scene in the book of the historical context, all of these different things that were happening in the US and in the world in the 60s and 70s, and then also drawing on your own family lineage and how all these things converged, and how did you end up in such a terrible situation? Was it hard to put all those pieces together and kind of get to that understanding of, how did I end up here?
It did. I had moments at one of the really bad kind of slum orphanages where I was kept, the worst one, which is right after what I call the baby factory near downtown, but a much worse environment. And I felt that there was moments at 4 or 5 years old where I felt, did the stork drop me off at the wrong place?
Right.
But one of the reasons I could trace my family on my mom's side back to slavery, and my family accomplished remarkable things in the 75 years from 1865 to 1940. And my grandfather was a physician, my great-grandfather was a physician, and then in one generation, I'm born a slave.
Right.
And so it allowed me to analyze, what is a slave? They take away your history. You have no control, or they manipulate you into making you feel like your plight is the only way, that you were made for this existence and that there's no other option. People have to understand the level of animalization that I experienced as a kid. I mean, I never learned to brush my teeth. I didn't have underwear. I didn't have bed sheets or bedding. I never went to school. I could read at a high level because I was forced to study the doctrine from a young age. But at the age of 19, 20 years old, when I escaped, I couldn't write. I didn't know how to use a comma.
Right.
I couldn't write a paragraph or a sentence. And so I had to deal with adult illiteracy because of the situation. And what makes it such an incredible story, I mean, it is like reading one of the most powerful, fast-paced novels you ever read. That's
really
true.
Is, yeah.
I wish I could take responsibility for that, because I was a twig being swept along trying to survive. But what's so incredible is, after getting out at 20 and being illiterate, 5.5 years later, I graduated from a school in Europe, which is equivalent to Harvard. It's called the London School of Economics. And that's what, and so these are such great questions. And I wrote the book really to show that you can come back from, again, the impossible, that
Yeah.
you can be in the darkest hole and there's a way back. So if you have someone in your life that you think can't come back, or that you're
Yeah.
trying to help, or you think God thinks you're not going to get better, this book talks about, shows you step by step someone coming back from
Yeah.
an absolutely impossible circumstance.
It's incredible too, maybe the not so distant members of your family who are not involved in the Scientology world. Every once in a while, they would reach out to you, your grandmother, some other people in her orbit, and they'd get a hold of you and you'd get some love and care for a brief moment. And you describe the overwhelm of that. Just have someone looking at you and seeing you and saying, hey, this kid needs to go to the doctor, or a basic need that just was never met for you in your regular life.
Yeah, the medical neglect was very intense and led me to several near-death experiences as a child. But yeah, there were moments, I talk about angels in the book, and there's moments where my life is being touched by constant acts of kindness. My mother married a guy when I was 3, a Sicilian guy, and he was the most loving guy. And I think that he overwhelmed me with love for this brief period, probably at the point where I was on the precipice, and saved my life.
Yeah.
And you know, people ask me about these people that intervene. I don't believe my life is a meritocracy. I think that people help us.
Yeah.
And they ask me how all these angels came in. And one of the things that I explain, well, maybe I don't explain this in the book, but my belief is that when you're insatiably curious and you want to do better and you're eager and you put aside, you know, I didn't have a capacity for feeling sorry for myself,
Right.
probably because I was indoctrinated, but when you have insatiable curiosity, it will inspire people to step into your life. And that happened to me, you know, consistently.
Yeah. Have you connected with any other people who shared your experience growing up in the church as the book is coming out now?
Yeah, I mean, I've done some interviews. A lot of people are reaching out to me. It's very intense. You know, I didn't.
Yeah.
There was a 7-year-old girl that was one of my caretakers at the baby factory,
Right.
and she was able to fill in some of the memories that I had, because they're flashes. They're not real
Right.
memories, and you know, and then also tell me some things that I didn't remember that I probably don't want to remember.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's been powerful. I feel like these kids, when they reach out to me, it's like talking to someone that you've been through a war with. There's actually a colonel in Special Forces that wrote an endorsement for the book and described what I went through as a kind of war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, just the manual labor that you were subjected to alone as a small child, like you're saying, 5, 6, 7 years old, the tasks that were given to you.
Yeah, I was, you know, the human trafficking laws that would have protected me weren't enacted till 2003.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I was trafficked. I mean, it's hard to admit that. I'm a proud person, and I've lived, you know, with a lot of it, you know, not telling anyone. Until I decided to write this book 2 years ago, a little over, no one knew. I didn't tell my agents, my publishers. I had so much shame. Shame is the only word I can use to describe it. Yeah.
But it's part of your story, and you've overcome so much, and it deserves to be celebrated, all that you've accomplished, in spite of all those challenges.
Thank you. And I think it's a very inspiring story for people that are going through something or have come through a hard time. And I really want to get the story out of what's happened to this lost generation of children, thousands of kids on 4 continents that's never been told. So I'm asking if you buy this book, you will be just floored at what I was subject to and just the arc of the story. And I would like to support in getting the story out.
Yeah.
And you can do that by buying the book, because by getting the story out, all these kids that, you know, I've lost to suicide and drug addiction, or all the ones that are living in shame, because most of them, the ones that survive, they just stay living in shame. We can remove their shame by getting the story out.
Well, it's really beautiful, and we so appreciate you sharing your story and spending some time with us today.
It's my honor to be here.
Thank you so much. Okay, and Jamie has a book event tonight at 7. It's at Powell City of Books on West Burnside. We'll have all those details for you on our website. The book again is Child X. For more information, just head to katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this. Thank you so much.